you don't have to live it. You had
Yeah.
your childhood, you blew it, too bad. You
Yeah.
don't get a do-over, and most definitely not through your child and not at their expense.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Parenthood, a space where real stories and real parents come alive. I'm your host, Neha Garg, and each week we explore the tender, raw, funny, and complex layers of modern parenthood. Today's guest is someone many of us have grown up with, on screen, in spirit, and now in far deeper ways. Shruti Seth is not just an actor whose characters became part of our early adulthood memories, from Jiya in Shararat to Isha in Rishta.com, but someone whose personal journey has unfolded quietly and powerfully in the public eye. Shruti is now a certified mental wellness coach, holding space for emotional healing, resilience, and growth for others and for herself. She is a mother to Alina, who Shruti often says has been one of her greatest teachers. She is also partnered in life with filmmaker Danish Aslam, and together they're navigating this big, beautiful thing called parenting. Shruti, welcome to Parenthood. I've been really looking forward to this conversation, not just because of what you do, but because of who you've become through it all. Thank you for joining us today.
My God, what an ego boost that was. Thank you. I really needed it. Something to lift my spirits. Thank you, and thank you. And it is my absolute pleasure. I really look forward to this conversation that we're about to start. And I hope that through it, it can probably resonate with fellow parents who may have similar struggles, similar victories, similar doubts.
Yeah.
So let's jump into it.
Yes. So my first question to you today is, what's something you've recently unlearned about motherhood?
That mothers need to do it all. I
Hmm.
don't think we need to do anything. We're doing enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I have very recently been diagnosed with a back injury,
Hmm.
something I've discussed with you, which is honestly teaching me so much and making me unlearn so many truths that have been forced upon me uh, from society, from my peers, from just about everybody, which is this need to just keep going.
Yeah.
I think it needs to stop.
Yeah.
And if someday I can write a book about it, I will.
Wow.
That we need to just stop. This constant need to be productive at all times, to just keep powering through, not listen to your own needs, your own wants, your own desires, your body. Just, I don't know why we're rushing through life. I have
Yeah.
no idea where we're all trying to get,
Yeah.
right? Because we're eventually going to get where we're supposed to get when we're supposed to get there. But
Yeah.
this need to just say, okay, no, seize the day and keep going and do this and do it's just so toxic.
Yeah.
And I think it is the worst kind of example we can set for our children,
Yeah.
because the ability to take things slowly, to
Yeah.
savor them, to really be there, to enjoy them, it's a lost art. Nobody knows how to do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think sadly, motherhood tends to glorify it a lot. Modern parenting, especially, that we need to be inside our child's universe at all times.
Yeah.
And I just heard a very interesting podcast yesterday, as in just an excerpt from it, in which Trevor Noah was talking to some people. And he said, every time I go to a playground and I see parents
Yeah.
who are just watching their children like hawks at all times, right? It's a prison yard.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Your children are your
Yeah.
prisoners. You don't let them be.
Yeah.
It is such a problem.
Yeah.
And I realize that because uh, of the way society has evolved and what we've been forced to do as parents, which is plan play dates,
Yeah.
monitor if the kids are eating the right kind of food, are they watching the right kind of. Firstly, they shouldn't be watching any content to begin with. It's not their age to watch anything. they should be playing outside, and games that they want to play, not games that I should curate for them. But that
Yeah.
also I want to do. I want to tell my child what game to play, how to play, who should win, how they should be. Let your kids figure it out.
Yeah.
Just let them figure it out. They will fail. And that is how curiosity begins. When you do something and you fail at it makes your brain spark ideas saying, okay, how can I do this differently?
Yeah.
Right? So it's making me creative. But I will tell my child, no, do it like this.
Yeah.
How will they learn? How will their brains develop? How will they evolve? How will they learn coping mechanisms? Nothing. We want to live our child's life. I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest problem with modern parenting, which is just please stop trying to live your childhood through your child.
Yeah.
You're allowed to witness it, and that is your biggest gift,
Yeah. True.
right?
True.
You don't have to live it. You had
Yeah.
your childhood, you blew it, too bad. You
Yeah.
don't get a do-over, and most definitely not through your child and not at their expense.
Yeah. True.
So
True.
if I were to sum your very brief question with a very big answer, which I just gave you,
Mm.
I think it is this, that we have the luxury to witness our children's childhood, and that is the greatest gift we can give ourselves.
Yeah. That's true. Talking about your child's childhood, tell us about
Yes.
Alina. What she like? What makes her laugh? What does she bring into your world?
So Alina has been magical from the day that she opened her eyes.
Yeah.
The first time I saw her in a scan, she didn't even have a proper face then.
Yeah.
But she's been magic in my life from the day she was born, even before that, but more
Yeah.
so the day she opened her eyes and the first time that I saw her. And it's like everything I had ever wanted just took human form.
Oh.
Like really, everything I ever wanted just suddenly came to me in the form of this little beautiful baby girl. And I remember when my husband and I were thinking of names. Of course, all my ideas got shut down, and my husband literally thought of a name night before she was born. And I was very keen to have a name that meant light,
Okay.
because I feel that our names have some sort of impact on our personalities. And I was
Yes.
very clear that I wanted someone whose name meant light.
Yeah.
And my husband chanced upon this name called Alina. And the first question, he said, how do you like the sound of it? And I said, what's the meaning? And he said, it means light in Greek. And I said,
Wow.
okay, I don't need to know the rest of the meanings. This much is enough. And I really feel that that's what she's come into my life as. She's come into
Oh.
my life as light. She's my source of sunlight at all times. When I'm anxious, when I'm around her, I just feel calmer. When I'm sick, I get better. When I'm having a rough sleepless night, when she sleeps next to me, I fall asleep in deep sleep. So I think she just has that magical light about her.
Oh.
And that's who she is. And from a very young age, I remember Danish and I started reading to her. And we started reading to her when she was just about 6 months old. Of course, before that also, we would read things, but like from 6 months, she became very cognizant of what books meant. So she would keep saying but, but. She couldn't say book, so she would keep saying but. And we had to
Okay.
read to her when she was sitting on the pot. We had to read to her when she was eating food. We had to read to her when she was having a bath. It was like she just wanted to hear more and more and more stories. And then when she was around, I think maybe 2.5, 3, she started to read herself.
Wow.
Yeah, she was reading very early. And of course, like very small books with
Yeah.
like, small, small words. But
Yeah.
she started recognizing letters. And then one fine day we said, okay, now we're gonna let you go. Now you're gonna have to read for yourself. And then from day to this date, we've never been able to win her back from books. We just lost her to them, and that's where she has stayed, and that's her universe. It is surrounded with books. Her room is full of books. It's like this very messy library, and she reads sometimes one, maybe two books a day, and she reads the same book over and over again. Like,
Wow.
she can go through a 4.5 hundred Harry Potter book in half a day. I don't know how she does it,
Oh.
but it's what makes her most joyful. It makes her most peaceful. And I think they are her friends for life. And I
Wow.
keep telling her that, now that she's growing up and she's 10 and now she's navigating relationships and friendships and, all that drama that comes with it. And I keep telling her, you will never have to worry about being alone because you will always have your best friends
Yes.
in books. They
Yes.
will never disappoint you. They will always be there for you. And you can
Yeah.
take them everywhere you go. You'll find them everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So I really think that if there was one thing that I'm very happy we did was to inculcate that habit in her. I think
Wow.
it's really been one of the better gifts we have given her as parents.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Shruti, you've always been in the public eye. How did that shape your early parenting experience? Did it add pressure or offer perspective or?
No, I do think I was misinformed when I was pregnant. I
Hmm.
think I did read a lot of stuff about, moms having to just get their hands dirty and make sure that they do everything. And I think very early on when uh, I had just delivered and I had a C-section, I wish I had been kinder to my body because I think
Yeah.
I wanted to do everything myself. I kept saying no to any external help that would come, even though I did have my parents, my mom's house. Like from the day Alina walked in, I've not walked in, like the day I carried her in,
Yeah.
I stayed for 6 months with my parents because I was just so happy to have so many hands on deck.
Yeah.
But I think just even it's not even so much the actual physical effort, it's the
Yeah.
mental drain of saying, is my child stimulated enough? Is she getting the right kind of exposure? Is she listening to the right kind of music? Am I opening up those brain waves in her head where she can learn? Like the pressure is idiotic.
Yes.
It is so idiotic. I'm so upset that I let myself fall prey to it.
Hmm.
And it is what it is. I can't punish myself for it because I was trying to do the right thing. But I think it's a huge disservice to young mothers and to new mothers because we tend to forget what our body has just been through.
Yes.
And a C-section is cutting layers of abdominal muscle, you
Yeah.
know. To build that back is no easy task. It takes a toll on your back, it takes a toll on your body, it takes a toll on your hormones. It's it's brutal.
Yeah.
But the thing is that because you are high on the
Yeah.
oxytocin of having a baby,
Yeah.
and the dopamine of having a child who's gurgling and laughing and being cute and looking at you with these little lost eyes and smile. You
Yeah.
forget the hardship of it. But it's hard.
Yeah.
And I wish more mothers were informed that listen, your kid is going to stay cute and they're
Yeah.
here forever.
Yeah.
And while you can have all the time with them, please also give time to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think in my early period, I had a lot of trouble sort of building my body back. And also that pressure of
Yeah.
having to get back, in prime health. Even though I'm a very bodily aware person, I still felt, oh my God, I'm so used to exercising. I need to get back to exercising and I need to start eating this kind of food and I need to make sure my muscles are strong. Time. You have to slow it down.
Yeah.
I I had a baby in the month of July, and in the month of December, I was doing a headstand
Wow.
in Goa on sand.
Wow.
So you can imagine what kind of core strength I must have developed to be able to do that. But I
Wow.
think it was a very cruel expectation of my body.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was extremely mean to myself. I wish I hadn't been. Because here's the thing, 10 years ago, the time I did not gift my body is taking it from me today.
Yes.
With this back injury, I don't have any option but to take it slow. And I've been through the motions of, being angry, feeling out of control, saying, what the hell? I've been so fit and I've been so good with my body. How can my body fail me like this? It's just not listening. It's like,
Yes.
no, I'm not ready. Now I will not let you move.
Mm.
I've been lying in a bed for the last 1 month. My only outing every day is to my physiotherapist and back. I have disconnected from all work. I'm not doing anything. This is probably the first thing I'm doing with you. I went for a wellness festival as a chief guest recently, simply because I think I now want to really go out there and tell people you have to rest yourself. It
Yes.
has to happen. It
Yeah.
is the one hard lesson I'm being taught a very painful way, but I'm just surrendering to it now. I wish mothers were allowed that in the early days of motherhood. And even for the rest of, motherhood is just mean to women.
Yes.
It's such a gift, but because of the constant chatter of women just saying, okay, we need to claim our space, no, we have to do things when it is time for them.
Right.
And again, I'm speaking from immense privilege
Yeah.
because my career allowed it, my financial position allowed it. But I know it's not easy. I know how quickly women have to go back to work post pregnancy. We barely have any systems in place for new mothers. They're finally happening very, very slowly in few pockets here and there.
Yeah.
In terms of a mindset shift, it has not happened.
Yes.
And I think it is so necessary because women just pay such a hard price for it. And it's so unfair.
Yeah. And when did this shift happen, Shruti,
It's
towards you?
happening for
In
me
your
right now. It's
yeah.
happening for me right now. I went and did a teacher's training course in mindfulness meditation,
Yeah.
but this is my exam. I'm actually giving a surprise test right now saying, okay, show us what you learned. Can
Yeah.
you do what you are trying to teach other people? Can
Yeah.
you be mindful? Can you learn how to be present? Can you learn to like give away the anxiety of the future? Can you let go of control?
Yeah.
Every day I'm giving an exam, literally.
Wow.
So till I don't pass this exam, I don't think I'm getting up from this bed.
Such powerful words. I'm having goosebumps as we speak, as you speak. But have there been moments of grief, letting go of
Of
version of
course,
yourself?
of course. It is very hard.
Mm.
I, it's so weird because I've been saying this to all my friends. I've always wanted to get a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so, I'll get a tattoo of my daughter's name. I'll get a tattoo of her birth date. Then, I studied Buddhism. So I wanted to get, Bodhisattva written and Bodhichitra written. And I keep saying, I want to do this. And I've not had the guts to touch a tattoo needle to my skin. But I was telling my husband, I was telling my friends, I was telling my physiotherapist, the morning I wake up without pain, that day I will put it on my skin, saying, this is when you were reborn.
Wow.
Like literally. And this shift is probably the hardest thing I've done in my whole life.
Yeah.
Because for the first time, all this time, with all the hardships and whatever upheavals and all of that, which is part and parcel of everybody's life, the body has always played supportive.
Yeah.
If I've had to get to work, it has taken me to work. If I've wanted to work out, it has worked out for me. If I've asked it to take me on a holiday, it's been in prime health for my holiday. Everything. My body has just been so supportive. But now it is just not listening. So now I am supporting my body. I'm like, you take the time you want, you take all the time you need. I am in no hurry to get anywhere. Like literally, I get called for things. I tell people I may show up, I may not show up. So please always mark me as tentative.
Hmm.
And when I come, I'll probably be like Cinderella. My alarm goes off and I just run off. I'm not staying one extra minute
Yeah.
beyond what my body is telling me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I will, at least right now, I can remember the date very vividly. But on the 15th of this month, I was lying in my bed from 12 a.m. till 4 a.m., howling in pain. And I was howling, saying, God, just anything, anything, just take this pain out of me, please. And I've gone off all pain medication. So I'm actually suffering the pain in its full force.
Wow.
Because I think that is another thing our society has been taught to do is to numb yourself,
Yeah.
right? So we don't even know when our body is telling us that it needs rest because
Yeah.
we're so used to popping a pill and getting back to work
Yes.
right? When a body signals you, our body is such a fabulous mechanism. It's such a gorgeous machine. It has such a lovely self-healing machinery in it. But because it takes time and that we don't want to give anything, just want
Yeah.
to rush, right? So I'm feeling a little sick, I'll just pop a Crocin and I'll be fine. I've
Yeah.
got a little inflammation, I'll take an Enzoflam and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And while, yes, at the onset, I did need to take a fair amount of medication to reduce the inflammation, I get very severe muscle spasms,
Yeah.
which are unbearable. So
Yeah.
initially I was plying myself saying, oh, okay, I'm fine. And because of the medication, I felt like I'm fine. So I was
Yeah.
exerting myself, which means I was pulling myself back from actually healing. I
Yeah.
kept hurting myself over and over again without realizing because all my pain receptors were off.
Yeah.
And then I've had to slowly say, okay, my physiotherapist was like, you know what, you're going to have to get off of them because I cannot track recovery otherwise. Because I
Right.
can't tell if you're feeling better because you're on medicine or are you
Or
feeling better because we're on the right path of exercise.
right.
So giving up those medicines it's literally is like putting a hand inside fire and saying, okay, now it'll burn, it'll burn.
Mm. Wow. That's I don't know what to call it. I
It's
don't
it's
want to call
rebirth.
it.
It's
Yeah.
rebirth. I'm not lying. I think I've suddenly gone very deeply spiritual in this time,
Yeah.
which I'm anyway. I anyway have a very strong spiritual bent, but I'm trying to constantly think, okay, what is happening to me? And I keep thinking, okay, I have to imagine myself as a seed right now. I've been buried, so I'm isolated, I'm alone because I spend all my time alone. My
Yeah.
child goes to school, my husband goes to work. I'm lying alone in a bed.
Yeah.
I'm not interacting with anybody.
Yeah.
So I keep thinking I'm a seed. I've been put under the earth, so it's all dark and it feels like I'm all alone. And now I have to just take whatever nourishment I'm getting from my exercise, from the rest, and slowly I will start emerging out. But that break is going to be hard.
Yeah.
It'll hurt. Because anytime you have to break through something, there
Yeah.
is there is a fair
There
amount
will
of
be,
strife,
yes.
right?
Yes.
But I know that I will come out on the other side.
Oh, you will. Oh,
But
you
I'm
will.
going to be a much better version of myself because this time I'm not going to just talk bookish knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually talk about an experience.
Yeah. Yeah. But this injury came now, but
It's an old injury which has gone unnoticed all these
my
years.
God. Oh my
Because,
God.
like I said, I'm sure there were signals.
Yeah.
But because every time my back would hurt, I would just pop an anti-inflammatory and the
Yeah.
pain would subside.
Yeah.
And then I continued doing what I did, what I did, what I did. And finally, the body is like, okay, man, this girl is just not listening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a very old injury that just got diagnosed this year.
Oh, but what led you to make the shift into, formalizing your interest in healing into practice? That, I mean, I'm guessing that and the injury were not related, were they?
So it's funny. I started going for therapy when Alina was born.
Mm-hmm.
I was very clear. I had to change certain patterns of my own behavior. And I was like, I'm not passing this on to my kid because it's so normalized, right? Your children watch you. They're not
Yes.
going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what they see you do.
Yes.
So if she sees me freaking out, she's going to learn to freak out because she'll think, oh, that's the response to a crisis,
Yes.
right? If she sees me being unkind to myself or being ruthless with myself, she'll learn how to be ruthless with herself. I don't want her to do that.
Yeah.
I want her to feel like she deserves love and most importantly from herself.
Yeah.
So I started going for therapy when she was born with the intention of healing.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, okay, this mind is a very interesting place. Let's see where we can go with it. And during the pandemic, I started doing online courses just for cheap thrills.
Yeah.
And it's a rabbit hole. I haven't
Yeah.
been able to stop. I'm just going down, studying, 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 studying. I'm jumping from one course to the next, to the next. I think I have like, I don't know, I've done 17 certification courses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started off with a certification from Yale University from the happiness lab called the Science of Wellbeing.
Yes.
I moved on to doing a counseling course from St. Xavier's, which is my alma mater. I did a Buddhist psychology course. I moved on to do a postgraduate diploma in arts-based therapy.
Wow.
I did a certification course in intelligence. Then I did another certification course in emotional intelligence coaching.
Wow.
Then I moved on and I went to study mindfulness meditation as a teacher. And I recently did another certification in the science of actually not emotional well-being and counseling in schools.
Oh, okay.
And I'm currently studying something called choice theory reality therapy.
Wow. I don't know what that means, but I will be sure to look this up. It really, really sounds very
It is,
interesting.
it is, I think, the best things I have done for myself as an adult
Wow. Wow.
because there is no greater reward than learning. It
Yeah,
is tremendous.
that's true. That's
It
true.
is tremendous.
Yeah. I have to ask you, Shruti, did motherhood change your definition of ambition or success?
Not really. I think it is definitely okay. So sometimes I feel that, things I would have said yes to automatically,
Hmm.
motherhood always makes me pause and reflect
Yeah.
because now it costs me something.
Yeah.
Every time I need to go to work, it costs me time with my child.
Yeah.
So it has to really be worth it.
Yeah.
So I think that way I've been very fortunate. My career has been very, very rewarding to me. Everything I've done has brought me a lot of love, lots of success, so much so that a show I did 20 years ago is my grandest legacy. No matter what I do, everyone's like, Shararat, Shararat,
Yeah.
Shararat. It's like, okay, okay, okay. So my career has been extremely rewarding to me. But now when I get an offer, I have to always say, okay, let me get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing is that sometimes I have to say no to things that I really want to do. But I know the reason I have to let it go is even more rewarding.
Yes.
So the pain is a little less.
Yeah. How beautiful. How beautiful. And talking of that reward, have there been moments when Alina's taught you something about yourself that you hadn't ever acknowledged?
She's giving me lessons every day. Yeah, all the time. Because she straight away tells me, but also it was really funny because I used to love drinking colas, like
Mm-hmm.
love drinking colas. And one day she asked me, she was like, I want to taste it.
Mm.
And I said, okay, but I just want to tell you it's poison. It's literally poison. She was like, so then why did you drink it?
Yeah.
And I realized I'm not going to be able to stop her from doing things if I continue doing them.
Yes.
And that's a lesson that I learn every day. And I have told her that anytime I behave in a way that is hurtful, I want you to tell me.
Yeah. Wow.
And she does extra.
I'm sure she takes after you.
Well, I don't know about that, but I hope she takes my good parts, is what I'm
Yeah.
going to say.
Yeah. And you spoke about, you didn't want to repeat patterns and you went to therapy.
Yes.
So I want to ask about that. Were there some generational patterns you wanted to interrupt? Or,
Yes. So I think my mom, who has also been my greatest strength and support my whole life, I'm here because of her, had a huge problem with uh, general paranoia about my safety.
yeah,
And I think because of that, because she was scared, she put a lot of fear into me inadvertently.
yeah,
And it has been my greatest sort of battle with myself saying, someday I'm going to be fearless.
mm-hmm,
And I think that is one thing I did not want to pass on to Alina at all. I said, if I have fears, I have to figure my way around them. They're not her problem.
yeah,
They're not hers to solve.
yeah,
I don't want to hold her back from life experiences because I am worried for her.
yeah, yeah,
So I think that was one of the first few things. And fear is then, it starts as veiled, and I'm not saying in a bad way. It
Yeah.
is veiled concern. You want to control,
Yes.
right? But it's very debilitating because then fear permeates into all your life decisions.
Yes.
I don't want to think from a place of fear. I want to
Right.
always think from a place of possibility, from a place of love, from a place of optimism, saying, you know, it can very well work out,
Yeah.
because you get so used to what if it doesn't work out? What if I fail?
Yeah.
What if I embarrass myself? It's all fear, 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 fear. I did not want to pass that on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can only make my daughter brave if I'm brave. So I needed to first shed the fear.
Yeah.
And it's still, so here's the funny part. When you study the emotional reasons for sickness,
Mm-hmm.
your back is the place where fear stays.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
See?
your lower back. That's where fear is stored.
You're really, really going through a rebirth.
Yep. So I have to daily tell myself, I'm safe. I don't have to be scared anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is going to work out. I have to keep telling myself this because I really need to shift my consciousness there.
Yeah.
And then I want to always say that to Alina. I want to always tell her, please believe that things will work out for you.
Yeah.
Even when they don't work out, they are working out for you. You have
Yeah.
to view it like that.
Yeah. 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 And in that same vein, if you, what would you want her to know that something that took you years to learn, other than something like this fear, what would you want her to know about life, about being a person, being a woman?
I think, I don't want to tell her anything. She needs to figure it out on her own. She'll find her lessons on her own. I think the one thing that both me and Danish always keep telling her is that she's going to be loved no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
When she fails, when she succeeds, when she takes missteps, whatever she does, the love is not in question ever.
Mm-hmm.
We will love all parts of her.
Yeah.
But, and she also needs to know that while we don't want to be the ones, okay, to put it very simply, I think if I were to give it a metaphorical way of talking, I think I want her to know I'm her safety net. I'm
Yes.
not her harness.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold her back. I want
Mhm.
her to be able to take the leap and know that she will fall into a safety net, that we are always there.
Yeah.
Because a harness holds you back
Yeah.
and it does not give you faith in yourself. Because you always know, okay, someone's got me supported.
Yes.
You have to eventually believe in yourself
Yeah.
and take the leap.
Yeah. And tell me, Shruti, what is something small but meaningful that Danish does that supports your emotional well being as a mother?
I think we both have very similar goals as parents.
Hmm.
Both of us want the same things for Alina. I
Hmm.
think that's a very important thing. How we get there is very different. I spend more time with her. I'm slightly stricter. He reserves his opinions for when it really matters. I'm busy
Hmm.
shooting my mouth off most of the time.
Hmm.
But he knows, and I know that we both want the exact same thing for her.
Hmm. Right.
We're both uh, self-made,
Hmm.
so we want her to feel that she's capable on her own.
Right.
We will offer whatever support we can,
Yeah.
but eventually we want her to build a life of her own on her own without saying, oh, my parents will provide for me.
Right.
Whether we do or not should not be the thing in her mind,
Right. Right.
right? It should not be a burden on us saying, oh my God, now we have to make sure that she's taken care of for life, because I don't think anyone can set you up for life.
Yes.
And more importantly, I think there is a huge sense of self satisfaction, right? A certain sense of triumph when you are able to do things by yourself.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we want her to feel independent, but we don't want her to feel alone.
Yeah.
But she should know I can figure this out on
Yeah.
my own.
Yeah.
And if I can't, then I can ask my parents to intervene.
Yeah.
But her first thing has to say, okay, can I do this myself? That has to always be her first line of thinking that,
Yeah.
okay, can I figure this out? I want her to feel mentally and physically capable of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
I
if
think
she,
that is probably uh, his greatest way of supporting me as a mother, and I think me to him as a parent as well.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And if she were to listen to this episode, say 10 years from now, what would you want her to hear in your voice?
That she's loved. She will
Oh,
always be loved. Like we will never love anyone else the same way.
yeah.
That love is reserved only for her, and it is endless. I can never put a cap on it. I can never say, okay, this much love I have for you. It is endless. I have no idea how much love I have for her. And it is just for her, nobody else. We have a dog who we love to pieces. And he's brought out a completely different kind of love in me. I never liked pets, but
Uh-huh.
my husband was very keen. And this was another thing. I was always scared of having a pet at home.
Hmm.
And that was one of the first times I said, okay, I have to fix my own fear. I
Yeah.
can't deny Alina the love of having an animal because I'm scared.
Yeah.
If I'm scared, I'll have to figure it out. And I have actually ended up being the biggest slave to the dog. I am like, everyone looks at me saying, you have a dog? Because I have genuinely been very, very apprehensive about
Yeah.
having pets.
Yeah.
But in terms of the love that she has, it's the thing I tell her all the time. What are the things that you have to remember? They have to be the voices in your head
Yeah.
that my parents love me. That's it.
Yeah.
And it is something my mother put inside my head. And I work in an industry which is always plagued with external validation.
Yeah.
And people are deciding whether I'm good enough or not.
Hmm.
So for me, in that sense, I think my mom's love has been my cloak of it's an armor.
Hmm.
I walk into rooms with my mom's love wrapped around me, saying, I really don't care if you like me or not. My mom loves me. And I
How
think that is
beautiful.
one of the greatest gifts my mother could have given me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not just my mother, my dad, my uncle. I think I have been hugely blessed.
Hmm.
So I hope I can pass that on to her. Like
Yeah.
that's one generational thing I'd like to give her.
Yeah, yeah. And tell me, I'm very, very aware of your back situation. So I'm going to just close this conversation with two
Thank
last
you.
questions.
Yes.
If you could sit across from pre-mom Shruti, what would you tell her?
I think I would tell her to love herself a lot more than she does.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really would. I will, I think I've realized that a little late. Again, I never want to seem ungrateful because I did have a lot of support. But I'm talking about my own mental
Yeah,
blockages that were there.
yeah.
I think I am, for the first time in my life, leaning into luxury.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, I deserve this. I am worthy of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had said those things to myself before I became a mom. I
Wow.
wish someone had said that to me when I became a mother early on, saying, you are worthy of rest.
Mm.
You don't have to do everything. And, it was really weird because I went back to work when Alina was 3. And this was a big wake up call for me. Um, I used to leave her with Danish, and then Danish would drop her off with my mom when he had to step out. And of course, we've been very fortunate because both of us are freelancers. So one of us is always largely present in her life
Right.
when the other person is working. So she always has either one of us as some
Hmm.
presence. And of course, my parents have just been, my God, I don't think I could have had Alina if it was not for them. Because
Wow.
they've really been, I keep saying, I think Danish and I are her babysitters. My parents are her real parents. Like, really, they'll cancel plans at the last minute saying, Alina's coming. Okay, forget it. We don't need to go out. Like that level of
Wow.
love, they were like, we don't need this. For
Yeah.
us, having Alina around is enough. And at that time, I remember when I went to work, I would call my mom and say, oh, has she gone down? Please let her go down and play. And my mother said, look, it's hard for me to organize
Yeah.
you know, so if you want her to live this regimented life, then you're going to have to find someone else. I
Wow.
can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't live, I cannot look after her with your timetable.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
I can give her is crazy amounts of love. So if
Mm.
that's what you want, she's always welcome home. But if you want her to have playtime and music time and class time, and I can't do it.
Mm.
And it was such a rude awakening because I realized I sounded so ungrateful to my parents
Yeah.
because they're older and they've already done this. They didn't need to do it. They were like, we've raised two kids. You don't need to
Yeah.
raise any more children.
Yeah.
But I think that one sentence from my mom opened me up to accepting help in all shapes and forms,
Yeah.
not the kind of help I want. I
Yes.
always figured I will not find someone who will love Alina the way I love her because no one can be her mother but me, not
Yes.
even my husband.
Yes.
He also loves her differently.
Yeah.
And if I start micromanaging how people should love her or how they should stimulate her or how what kind of environment they should create, I will honestly do the biggest disservice to myself because everyone will pull back saying, okay, this we can't do. But to be able to accept help and love and support in whatever shape and form it comes, please grab it with both your hands and just say a million thank yous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another thing that most mothers do,
Yeah.
is that they want to curate the kind of help they want.
Yes.
People are like, are you insane? Like, no, we are not going to do this.
Yeah.
Fold every napkin like this and then make sure this is pinned here. No, it's not going to
Mm.
happen.
Yeah.
So I think because my mom said this to me in that moment, I realized I was like, oh God, I'm being horrible to my parents. Here they are giving me the luxury to go back to work
Yeah.
so that she's in the care of loved ones.
Yeah.
And I don't have to leave her at home or in a creche or wherever it is that one would feel compelled to do things if you did not have parental support. I have it and I'm pushing it away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And my last question to you, Shruti, for today. What message would you like to give to other parents who are listening to this podcast of ours in their parenting journey?
You are here to witness your children's lives.
Hmm.
That's it. You are not here to live it. You are not here for the regrets. You are not here for the triumphs. No, you're just here to witness their life. The only thing you can do with your children is equip them with that much love for themselves that they know when they're doing something right and when they're doing something wrong. Build them up like that. Tell them to listen to their hearts because the heart will always know when you're doing something right or something wrong.
Yeah.
And please do not try and curate your child's life. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Let them figure it out themselves. It is such a magical time. It does not have to come with an agenda. We spend our whole lives, you know, eventually being productive and answering to other people and doing things that are expected of us. Don't make childhood into that. Let it be full of magic.
Yeah.
And if you get to witness it, just consider yourself lucky that you get to be a part of magic.
Yeah.
That's really, I think, the greatest reward for parents is
Yes.
to get to witness magic.
True. True. How beautiful is that? Shruti, thank you from the
Thank you,
bottom of
Neha.
my heart for showing
Thank
up
you.
in the way that only you can, with depth, with humor, with an honesty that doesn't seek to impress, but to connect. You reminded us today that the journey of parenthood doesn't just reshape our schedules or our priorities, it reshapes our souls. And the beauty of your story is that it isn't one of arrival, but of unfolding, of continuing to become.
Thank you.
And I'm really, really happy that we got to do this.
And so am I. And I'm so sorry that you're having to cut this short, but I
No
hugely
worries.
appreciate it.
No
Thank
worries.
you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having me.
Thank you.
And lots and lots and lots of love to you and to all the parents tuning in to listen to this.
Thank you. And to everyone tuning in, thank you for listening to this heartfelt conversation. If Shruti's story resonated with you, please consider sharing this episode with a fellow parent, a friend, or anyone who might need a moment of reassurance today. Don't forget to follow Parenthood wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're feeling generous, leave us a review. It helps more than you know.